Steve, he really put his heart and soul in getting the town cleaned up.
Steve is confidence, and he's got character, integrity, and sincerity. He loves Prophetstown and its people.
He doesn't care. I mean, as far as the recognition part of it, he was always very humble about everything. And then he's just a simple guy too. He's a very easygoing guy.
Okay, Boomer.
That was several Prophetstown residents talking about Steve Swanson and his 16 years as mayor of the small village nestled alongside the Rock River in western Illinois. This episode concludes my conversation with Steve about significant events of his mayoral tenure. None more significant than the fire that devastated the town on July 13th, 2013. He shares with us behind-the-scene details of how a small town came together to overcome its greatest challenge.
Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer.
What an achievement on your part. And you talk about all the hours that you put in. I just still shake my head, smile, and grimace, and wonder, like, man, because I know your salary is public knowledge. It is a pittance. I actually called City Hall. I said, "How much does the mayor make?" And she goes, "Who's calling?" I said, "Well, okay." I gave her my name. She goes, $4,000. I started lying there. Okay.
You don't do it. You obviously don't do it for the money.
Oh my gosh. When I did the math, I wrote, I worked it out. If you put in 3 or 4 hours a day each week, you probably make $5 an hour, and that's gross. That's not even taking out any taxes. It's just
I only did it for my love of Prophetstown.
Oh, obviously, because it was just a ludicrous salary. But actually, it's embarrassing. It's like, really, you want somebody that's going to be there and professional, and someone's going to step up and wow.
At the time of the fire, I was only making like $100 a month. And Warren Long, which has since passed away, was a council member. And when we got everything put together and we had a contractor lined up to clean it up and had a solid price from him, blah, blah, blah. And Warren Long, it was unbeknownst to me, at one of the meetings, he stood up and said, we got to give this guy more money. So good for Warren, I guess.
Yeah.
But, they all agreed. So
well, good for Prophetstown and good for you, Steve. That's and no one wants to go through a tragedy like that. But I think, as the other people said that I spoke with, it looks like we had the right guy in the right place for the right tragedy.
Okay, Boomer.
Here's Dan Eyrich, former publisher of AroundPtown.com.
You couldn't have had a better person. I think he's a great person. But he also was involved in construction, and specifically he was an operator, meaning he ran large equipment, bulldozers, backhoes, etc. So he had the knowledge base to go into something like this and know how to deal with it. What equipment are you going to need? Where are you going to take this stuff? How long is it going to take? He knew all of that, which if you or I had responsibility, I would have no idea where to start.
Right.
He was right on it. I mean, and he had so many connections in that industry that paid huge benefits in every conceivable way of how to get rid of it because of, there's contamination you have to deal with and on, and you have to backfill it and all of that stuff. And I don't know the exact timeline, but it was unbelievably quick as far as a disaster of that magnitude in a town that size to be, having those lots cleared and leveled and sitting there ready for, the next phase of whatever is to come.
Okay, Boomer.
So, Prophetstown owes you a big thanks. Indeed.
Well, I don't know about that, but one thing that I was kind of proud of, to be honest, is the contractor was getting them cleaned up, and everything in the basement, busted the floors up and took the concrete walls down, blah, blah, blah. And they came to me and they go, Steve, do you know where we could get, because they had to fill the basement, the holes in, you know?
Right.
They said, do you know any place close where we could get some material to haul in here?
Some fill.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't want to get held up, you know. So I got in my truck and I drove around here and there and blah, blah, blah. And finally a light come on in my head. Harold Erdman. So he had a farm that was just south of the country club, part of that hill on the south side. Anyway, I went and seen Harold. I told him, here's the deal. We drove out there. He wanted me to show him about how big an area we needed. And I showed him, I figured up the yardage. I don't remember what it was now, cubic yards. Showed him about what we could do. And he said, all right. And I said, well, here's what the contractor will pay. I don't remember the amount. It was pretty minimal. And, okay, he said, it worked for me. So we got it all cleaned up. They were hauling the basements weren't quite filled, almost done with it. And the contractor said, can you go out there and measure exactly how many cubic yards we used? And that's what we were going to pay Harold by.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, I can figure it up. So it was minimal amount. I don't remember now what it was, but it was minimal. And so I went out and told Harold, and he said, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. So I went to the contractor and told him, yeah, he's satisfied with that amount. So about 2 days later, Harold called me, and he said, hey, can you come out to my house? I want to talk to you about that sand. And I thought, oh, God, here we go. You know, he's going to want more money. And he said, you done such a good job, and I'm happy with he gained some farmland, actually. And he said, I don't want anything for that sand. That's my donation.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was. So when the contractor got done, he came to me and he said, handed me an envelope. And I said, what's this? Well, that's the money. I said, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. And he said, no, I want you to give this to Mr. Erdman. And there was $5,000 in the envelope.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Wow.
and they appreciated it, and Harold was happy, and
Excellent.
yeah.
Lots of good-hearted people pulling through there.
Oh, yeah. Especially, I said always about Prophetstown, you can get kicked pretty hard, and everybody comes together.
Wow. You can't think of a much bigger kick than what P-Town took on that day.
Yeah.
What was the year on that, Steve?
I couldn't even remember.
You don't want to remember.
No, I'd have to. I've Googled it a million times because I keep forgetting, but I don't know. I was mayor probably 2 years is all. I think maybe not even that long.
Wow. That's crazy. So if you had to do it, if you had to go through that nightmare again, would you have done anything differently?
No.
So you guys got all the right pegs and the right shapes, the round pegs and all the round holes. Have people come to you from other towns saying, hey, we'd like to know what you guys learned from
yes,
this?
I did get a call from a couple towns. But the one thing, we bought the property, and then we had to clean up. We were wondering how we're going to pay for that. And Harlan Bush, bless his heart, went around to all the farmers in the area and said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to donate 1,000 bushel towards the cleanup fund for the Prophetstown. I'm going to take 1,000 bushel to Rock River. Whatever the price is, and that money's going to the city. And quite a few farmers went with that.
Nice.
Yep.
That's generosity there.
Oh,
For people
yeah,
people who don't even live in town.
No, I was anticipating, well, maybe we'll have to borrow money from the bank or something, but we didn't have to borrow a dime.
How about
We
that?
had some of our own money, a lot of donations, but that was the big one, I'll tell you.
How
But I
about-
appreciated the $10 donation as much as the $1,000 one. But
You bet. So it makes that saying "Prophetstown strong." That there's a great example of the strength of the people in this area.
that's how that word "strong" got put in there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of strengths, what would you say your strengths are as a mayor? Is it organization, listening, motivating others, leading discussion, problem solving?
I'd say every one of those. Problem solving was a big one for me. Infrastructure was certainly a way big number for me. And when just like the Halpin property, we bought, there was some on the board that were kind of against it till I explained, you better get it now while you can. There's no place to go for the Prophetstown ever expands.
Mm-hmm.
We're landlocked. You can't go east of town. They don't want to sell any property out past Brookhaven. And south of town, there's nothing much there. So anyway, I guess I had a good board, and they would generally work with me, and they did.
Okay, Boomer.
Eileen Detra, longtime city treasurer of Prophetstown, said this about Steve Swanson.
Steve is confidence, and he's got character, integrity, and sincerity. He loves Prophetstown and its people.
Here's Dan Eyrick, former publisher of AroundPtown.com.
He doesn't care. I mean, as far as the recognition part of it, he was always very humble about everything. And then he's just a simple guy too. He's a very easygoing guy.
This is Dan Dessing, longtime city councilman for Prophetstown.
Steve, he really put his heart and soul in getting the town cleaned up.
Hey, let's take this opportunity right here to hear from our sponsors, okay? Brief message coming up.
Around P-Town, it's got the news that you can use. Around P-Town. AroundPtown.com, it's got the scoop with all the poop.
Ben's Barbershop, it's a place I like to stop. Whether it's to get a fancy do or just buzz off my mop, Ben's Barbershop. It's a place I like a lot, and you'd like it too if you did your do at Ben's Barbershop. That's Ben's Barbershop in Fulton, Illinois. Look 'em up on Facebook, make an appointment, tell 'em Jimmy I'm a doofus sent you.
And it's been rewarding to plant seeds like that Halpin business park.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
for
And
listeners.
it'll take a while to fill up. I knew that.
Mhm.
But it's there. The water's there. The sewer's there. The lots are surveyed. And you can buy a lot for $10,000.
Nice. So
And
you
they're
get,
2.5 acre lots,
and you get to drive by that park regularly as you go out to your river cabin.
Yeah. We've sold 2 lots. There's 3 more to go, but it'll come.
Yeah. So that's got to put a smile on your face and give you a little pump of satisfaction
Yeah.
every time you
there's
drive by
some
there.
satisfaction there, sure.
You betcha. And it's going to do nothing but, as you said, eventually continue to grow and get those lots filled in. Is there anything else you drive by in parts of Prophetstown and smile as you look at what you've touched?
Yeah, I started a program. All the alleys in town were gravel. And so when the snow plows plowed the gravel, it'd all go in everybody's yard.
Oh, yeah.
And then next spring they were calling, are you going to rake them rocks up? Oh, God. So anyway, we've got there's a few left. We tried to do 2 alleys a year. And then all the alleys will be done. So they're all blacked up. Star Road was one project that went from Main Street to the east edge of the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, I'll tell you the big one was for me, the first year I was mayor, if you go down Mosier Drive and go behind the new school by where Dan Irick used to live,
Yep, right in the river.
yeah, you go around the corner by the nursing home. That road was terrible, rough and terrible, just terrible. And we put curb and gut. I got it going, and drew everything up. We put in curb and gutter, new streets, new storm sewer. Because I told them at the board meeting then, I said, "Here's the deal. Well, why do we need to do that? Here's the deal. At that time, I don't believe we were with Erie in sports at all.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got people coming to football games, you got people coming to basketball games, you got a new school, going to get a new school there, and it's embarrassing. And so now it's a nice blacktop road, and
Sure is.
it really turned out good.
Yeah.
People came from out of town to see family at the nursing home. It was a shit road, excuse my language.
Well, and so you took that on a ring and got
That was my
taken care
very
of.
first thing I did.
Very nice. So it always drags those good memories out every time you drive down that road. Awesome.
Right.
So what's retirement look like for you, Steve?
Oh, it's so much calmer. The phone doesn't ring. I mean, once in a while the city will call me and have a question or what, different things. But for the most part, it's just that my phone would ring. I mean, I don't know how many times I'd been out fishing. Hey, can you come to City Hall right away? Or can you go to Public Works right away? Yeah, I'll be there. And now that doesn't happen. I just enjoy it.
You can reel in, bait up, and throw back out again.
Yeah. And I miss it somewhat, I guess, but not that much.
Yeah, I hear you. So retirement for you will include less phone calls, a lot more time spent perhaps down on the river?
Correct. Yeah.
What do you do with all the fish you catch?
Oh, I throw a lot of them back.
Okay.
I used to get enough. I'd take a bunch of to the food pantry,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of it I just give away usually.
Sure.
I mean, I clean them for them, fillet them, but
That's very generous. A lot of work. Are you getting catfish?
I enjoy it.
You getting catfish mainly?
Yeah, that's all I fish for here.
Very nice. You got anything on your bucket list?
No, I tell you, there's one thing I'm real proud of, and I didn't have anything to do with Eclipse Square. That was pretty much taken over by Larry Van Dyke.
Okay.
They had the concrete poured there, but there was no roof or nothing on it. I called one of our, I guess, would have been state representative, and said, here's the deal. Do you have any money that you need to get rid of? I knew they had different funds like that, but not a lot amount. It wasn't a huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, no, we don't right now, but we'll call you. I'll call you. Keep in touch. And I'll be darned, it wasn't about 2 months later, and I got a call from Springfield, and they said, here's the deal. What do you want to do? I said, I'd like to put a roof on that stage in Eclipse Square in Veterans Park. I was sure to mention Veterans Park because I knew that would move them a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. And they said, okay, put together a price and give me a call back. So I went down to the Prairies, talked to Mike Lawrence, and I said, here's the deal. I only got 2 weeks to get this done. I want you to design. I told him kind of what I thought of for a design. And I said, you come up with a price for the material and a contractor and get back to me. So about a week, he called me. He said, I got Calvin Bebaum, a price from him, and I got the design. I went up and looked at it. It looked fine to me. I called Springfield. 2 weeks later, we had the money.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I mean, the stage they had was nice. Larry didn't have the money to work with, I mean,
Right.
it wasn't his fault.
Right.
But it made it so much nicer with the roof
Yep.
there.
Yes, it does. It looks awesome. And I enjoy the concerts that are put on there.
Oh, yeah, me too. And, there's the deal, too. Winning Wheels puts them on, but it's all donation from businesses.
Right. Right.
And the city kicks the money in, too. But, that's a great thing. I just wish, I'm really disappointed, though. I'm going to be very honest with you. I have maybe since they've started missed 2 or 3 concerts, just for other reasons that were going on. But whatever. You very rarely, I think only maybe 2 or 3 times I've seen other board members there.
Board members of
the city of Prophetstown.
Yeah.
That always pissed me off, to be honest.
It's disappointing with the overall numbers we get there. That's going to be...
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm hoping it's going to be one of the things that I can get involved with this summer.
We need to really push that, I went to Galva. They had a friend down there, and they have the same thing we have. A little bigger park, but kind of the same thing. And it's packed. They do it once a month, and it's packed.
I can't imagine.
Galva's about the same size as Prophetstown. A little bit bigger. Not much.
I can't imagine they're putting on any better music than what we got there. I really enjoy what they bring to the stage.
Me too.
What
I like about it, it's 2 hours. It's not going to keep you there till midnight. Us old people got to get home and get to bed. So, but it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
I like bringing my own chair, my own food, my own beverages of various designs. And it's free.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong. It just makes me so mad. I get so frustrated every time I go up there and there's only 60 people, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll maybe ringing up your phone number when if we get a plan together and how we might be able to address that issue.
All right. I think we can do that. But it really disappointed me that the council members couldn't show up. I know you got other activities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them got young kids.
Yep.
But some of them have never been there.
Right. Maybe they're afraid someone's going to ask them to get their garbage picked up or something.
Yeah, maybe, but I doubt it. But I don't know. I just think that's wrong.
Yeah, well, we'll work on it. It's that's another I think.
Well, I would be happy to work with you.
All right, because that's a point of pride for Prophetstown. We got really exciting things like a park district, and we've got that Eclipse Square there. So we got to take advantage of it.
Yep, you're right.
All right, Steve, is there anything else you want to share with me?
Not really. I appreciate you interviewing me, I guess.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I don't have much else to say.
All right, stop there, because I had to laugh out loud when I watched the video of your last council meeting, and it fits your personality. But you get to the end of the meeting, and I know that some people said some things, and there was a cake that was created for it, and I'm sure there was a card, whatnot. But at the end of the meeting, you stood up and said something like, okay, all right, well, thank you. And then you walked out.
Yep.
It still tickles me because it does fit your personality that you are you're not one that's going to be flashy and showy and you're a man of action more than words, and Prophetstown has been very fortunate to have a man of action like that. You get shit done, and you don't have to do it you're certainly not motivated financially, and you're not motivated because, I'm Steve Swanson, 16, four-time mayor of P-Town.
No part of it. But, backing up just a little bit, after the fire and they were hauling the material in the basements, filling them in with sand. And so I went to the owner of the company and I said, hey, I got a question for you. Can I ask you a question? He goes, yeah, sure. What? I said, do you have, you need a roller here to be rolling this to compact it so we don't want it to settle 6 months down the road. I said, if you bring the roller, I'll run it for free.
Yeah.
So he said, He said, that's the deal. So I've worked up there a couple weeks.
Gee whiz. That is awesome.
But I enjoyed it, I guess. So.
Well, I certainly hope so. 16 years is a long time to do anything. And for the rewards that you got, they had to be internal awards because you care about Prophetstown, and it showed for a very long time.
Yeah, I love Prophetstown.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you out on the river one of these days.
Yeah, I'll see you out there with your kayak.
That's right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, you made an impression on a lot of people. You certainly made an impression on Prophetstown, and we thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
All right, Steve. We'll talk to you again sometime.
Yep, have a good day, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Boomer.
I am grateful for people like Steve Swanson who step up to the plate with an aptitude for serving, with a selfless heart for making their corner of the world a better place to live in. I'm also grateful for my listeners. Next up is a former executive of Six Flags of Great America. Working with hundreds of teenagers? Yeah, she has some stories to share. See you next month.
Shut up. And kids, don't forget to be checking in with AroundPtown.com. It's got all the news that you can use. Stay hip, stay classy with AroundPtown.com. And for you fellas that want that hip and classy look, well, then you're going to want to get your butt to Ben's Barbershop chair. That's right, Ben's Barbershop. Look him up on Facebook.com. He's in Fulton. You make an appointment, you're going to love it. If you enjoyed listening to Boomer here, he'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to his podcast so you'd get notifications of when the next episode's coming up. Maybe leave a rating on a review. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe. That helps the podcast grow, and it makes the little fella feel so much better. And if you had any feedback for him, go ahead and contact him at ttaudioworks@gmail.com. Again, that's ttaudioworks@gmail.com. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.